The red wine hit my face before I even registered what was happening. Cold. Sharp. The smell of it. That sweet, acidic weight of Cabernet. Soaking through my white dress shirt, running down my collar in a slow, deliberate line. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just sat there at that table, surrounded by 20 people who were now staring at their plates. Let me back up 20 minutes. It was my stepdaughter's 21st birthday. Emily's. We were at the Capitol Grill, the kind of place where the tablecloths cost more than most people's car payments, and the steaks come with a side of quiet judgment. I had reserved the private dining room. I had arranged the flowers. I had handed the manager my card before anyone sat down. $3,400. Not a question. Not a conversation. Just the number I had agreed to carry, the way I'd been carrying everything for the past 15 years. We were maybe 40 minutes into dinner when the server, a young guy, maybe 23, clearly working hard for those tips, came by to refill the bread basket. Emily was mid-sentence, performing for the table the way she always performed, loud, bright, magnetic. She didn't pause. She waved her hand at him like he was a slow inconvenience, nearly knocking the basket from his hands. "Emily," I said, keeping my voice low. "Let the man do his job." The table went quiet. Not the polite kind of quiet, the held-breath kind, where everyone suddenly finds something fascinating on their fork. Emily turned to me, and I watched her face change, that specific rearrangement of features I had seen before, the transformation that happened right before something got broken. "Excuse me?" Her voice carried across the room, across the entire room. "Did you seriously just, in front of everyone?" She stood up, chair scraping against the floor. "You pathetic loser, Mark. You know what you are? You're a wallet. You're a credit card with a receding hairline. You have zero authority over me. Zero. You are not my father." The wine glass left her hand before she finished the sentence. I sat there. The server appeared with a white cloth, hovering at a respectful distance. I raised one hand barely, a small gesture that meant I'm fine, please go, and he disappeared. I looked at my wife, Jennifer, waited for her to say something, waited for the intervention, the apology, the minimum viable defense of the man who had just paid to be publicly humiliated. At his own expense. Jennifer leaned in, close enough that the whole table could hear every word. "Sit down, Mark. You're embarrassing her. She doesn't owe you anything. You are not her father." The table laughed. It was brief, 5, maybe 6 seconds, but it hung in the air the way certain sounds do, stretched and elastic, longer in memory than in time. I saw Jennifer's cousin cover her mouth with a napkin. I saw her Uncle Robert smile down at his plate. I saw Jennifer's brother-in-law whisper something to his wife that made her laugh again. Quieter this time. I saw Emily set the empty wine glass down on the table with a soft, satisfied click and take her seat. I picked up my napkin, dabbed my chin, folded it in quarters, set it beside my glass, untouched white wine, and opened the dessert menu when it arrived. I read every item, twice. Dark chocolate tart with sea salt, vanilla bean creme brulee, key lime cheesecake, artisan ice cream, 3 flavors. I did the math. If all 20 guests ordered dessert, that was another $40 to $50 per person.
Plus espresso, plus digestif, plus gratuiti.
"I won't be ordering," I told the server when he reached me. Jennifer went still. She didn't look at me. The conversation restarted around us. Vacations, traffic, someone's renovation, the way polite people navigate wreckage. No one spoke to me directly. I sat with the wine drying slowly into my collar and watched the centerpiece. White hydrangeas slightly tilted toward my side of the table, and I thought about my father. He'd been dead 2 years. I thought about him because of something he said the night before I married Jennifer, 14 years ago. We were in his kitchen, just the two of us. He was pouring coffee and not looking at me when he said it.
Son,
He said, "There are women who choose you because they love you, and there are women who choose you because you're useful." I dismissed it then. I called it the bitterness of an old man. I called it uncharitable. I folded it away somewhere I thought I'd never need it. Sitting at that table, wine stiffening against my skin, I unfolded it. The words came back with the precision of something said 5 minutes ago. Then I started making a list in my head. Her college tuition, direct payment from my checking account, $1,400 a month. The apartment, leased in Emily's name, but with my signature as guarantor. The car, financed under my credit, automatic debit. The phone plan, 5 lines, my account. The supplemental credit card, my name, her spending. The health insurance, the car insurance, the gym membership, the streaming services. I counted 16 separate financial commitments. Each one had a cancellation process. Each one had a phone number and a business hours window. I estimated I could dismantle every single one by noon the following day, if I started at 7:30 in the morning. When the bill came, $3,412. I placed my card on the tray without looking at the total. I signed the voucher. I left $200 in cash as a tip for the server Emily had waved at like a fly. This was the last bill I would ever pay for any of them. I didn't say it out loud. I said it once in my head very quietly, the same way I had read the dessert menu 20 minutes before. We took a group photo on the way out. Jennifer's sister organized everyone against the back wall. Emily stood in the center, birthday girl, queen of the evening. I stood at the far right edge of the frame. When the count reached 3, I smiled. The photo was taken. Jennifer's mother hugged me on the way out and whispered that I shouldn't take Emily seriously when she drank. I hugged her back with one arm and said nothing. In the car, my car, I drove 25 minutes home without saying a word. Emily was on her phone in the back seat, laughing with someone. Jennifer looked out the window. When we pulled into the garage, Emily got out first, went straight upstairs without saying goodnight. Jennifer lingered in the passenger seat for a moment. "Are you coming in?" I asked before she could. The question should have been hers. Inside, Jennifer went up to change. I stood in the kitchen with the wine still dried into my collar and looked out the window at the dark backyard. Poured a glass of water. Drank it slowly. When I went upstairs, Jennifer was already in bed with her phone. She looked up. "You should apologize to Emily tomorrow. She's sensitive. This can't go on like this. Both of you angry." I went into the bathroom, closed the door, let the shirt fall to the floor. The shower ran longer than usual. When I came out, Jennifer was asleep or performing sleep, which by then I had learned to treat as the same thing. I lay on my side of the bed and stared at the ceiling for an hour. I didn't replay the humiliation. I didn't hear the laughter again. I just ran the list. 16 lines. Confirmed the sequence. University first, they opened earliest and the cancellation would take effect immediately. Then the bank to pull the automatic payments before Jennifer checked the accounts. Then the property manager. Then the rest. At 5:30 in the morning, I dressed in the dark. Took my keys and wallet from the nightstand drawer, carried my shoes downstairs, put them on in the kitchen, and left. I was at my office on the 11th floor of the Graham building by 6:10. The overnight security guard, Marcus, waved me through like it was any other Thursday. I took the elevator up, turned on only my desk lamp, opened a blank spreadsheet, and started writing. At 6:42, I had 16 items in 2 columns, description and cancellation method. I refilled my water glass from the hallway dispenser and sat back down. At 7:31, I made the first call. The university's bursar office answered on the second ring. A woman with a calm, professional voice. I gave her my name, the student account number, the last 4 digits of my card. I told her I was withdrawing as the external payer effective immediately, and that any outstanding balance would need to be resolved directly with the student. "Do you want to speak with an advisor before we proceed?"
No.
"You understand this may affect enrollment continuity?" "Yes." "Are you absolutely certain?" "Yes." 3 minutes, 40 seconds. I hung up. By 7:40, I was on with the bank, canceling every automatic debit. The car payment, the insurance, the gym, the streaming services, the phone plan, one by one. The operator read each one aloud. I confirmed with a single syllable. Each yes felt shorter than the last. 12 minutes. Hung up. The property manager, Ron, called me back at 8:20. He'd known me 3 years. He knew whose apartment it was. Hey, Mark, everything okay with the unit? I need to withdraw my guarantee. I won't be signing the renewal when it comes up on the 1st. Without your guarantee, she won't qualify to renew. I understand. You want me to reach out to her? Please, in writing. Formal notice. 5 minutes. Hung up. By 8:40 I had called the dealership. By 8:50 the phone line was cut. In real time, the operator confirmed, and the supplemental credit card was blocked, effective immediately. Any charge Emily attempted would be declined on the spot. It was 9:13. 1 hour and 42 minutes. I stood at the window. Morning light came in long bands between the office towers. A woman crossed the street below with a coffee in one hand and her phone in the other, laughing at something. A bus stopped at the corner. A man in a suit checked his watch. I went back to my desk and looked at the spreadsheet. All 16 lines were checked. I closed the file without saving. Sandra, my assistant of 12 years, arrived at 9:30. I heard her greet the guard, settle in, drop her bag. She knocked on my door a minute later. Good morning, Mark. Good morning. Can you get me a coffee? She paused, one beat longer than usual, and left without asking anything. When she came back, she set the cup down without a sound. It was good coffee. My personal phone buzzed in the top drawer at 9:47. Jennifer. I didn't answer. At 9:51 it buzzed again. 9:55. 10:02. By 10:35, I had 27 unread text messages. I put the phone on silent and closed the drawer. At 11:15, my office landline rang. The direct line, the one only 5 people in the world had. I picked up after 4 rings. Mark. Jennifer's voice was rough. Chloe called. The university told her the payment was pulled. The property manager called. The dealership called. The phone company. A sharp inhale. What is happening? What you said last night. Silence. Mark, we need to talk. Yes. Tonight, at home. I'm not going home tonight. What? I'm staying at the office. We talk when I decide. Mark, you can't solve this by. I'm not solving anything. I'm acting. I hung up. At 11:30 I called my accountant, Gary Chun. 9 years together. I asked him to pull every transaction from Emily's supplemental card for the last 24 months. I needed it by end of day. Everything. Gary arrived at 2:10 with a thick folder and a laptop. He sat down across from me, turned the screen so I could see it, and before he said anything he looked at me. Mark, are you sure you want to see this? Yes. There are things here I didn't expect to find. Show me. He walked me through the first column. Charges above the normal usage threshold, repeating consistently over 23 months. They had started small, almost innocuous, a boutique here, a restaurant there. Then they grew. Spa treatments, a travel agency, a $4,000 online course that was never completed. Total, I asked. $42,800. In 23 months. I looked at the screen. I waited for the rage. The hot, immediate kind that makes your hands shake. It didn't come. What arrived instead was something colder and much more final. The feeling of a puzzle completing itself. The last piece settling into a space that had always been exactly its shape. Gary clicked to a third screen. A hotel. The Meridian Inn in Scottsdale, 3 hours east of us. 12 visits logged over 23 months. Double occupancy. Room service, spa, restaurant. The card was Emily's. The dates aligned perfectly with every business trip Jennifer had declared as a tax deduction over the same period. I set both hands flat on the desk. Emily's card. But not Emily. That's what the data suggests. The voucher signatures at the hotel are Emily's, but the dates don't correspond to any of her university or travel records. They match your wife's declared travel schedule. So Jennifer was using Emily's card, and Emily was signing the vouchers. Gary closed the laptop halfway, leaned forward. Mark, one more thing. The email address where the large charge alerts were being sent. It wasn't yours. It was a Gmail account your wife opened approximately 2 years ago. When you suspended the phone plan this morning, that account lost its two-factor verification. And the alerts rebounced to you, to the primary account holder. I opened my personal inbox on my phone. 29 unread emails, sorted by date, unauthorized charges, over-limit notifications, payment reminders, establishment categories, lodging, entertainment. I closed them without reading each one. Gary, I need a complete report. Dates, amounts, locations, merchants. Cross-referenced against Jennifer's declared business travel. When? Friday. Done. And I'm assuming you need a referral. Divorce attorney. The best you know. Discreet. Gary reached into his folder, wrote a name and number on a notepad page, and pushed it across the desk. Her name is Patricia Weston. Tell her I sent you. She'll see you this week. He gathered his things. At the door, he stopped. Mark, are you all right? You seem calm. I am. He nodded and left. I folded the paper in half, put it in the top drawer. Then I opened my personal inbox, selected all 29 alerts, and moved them to a new folder I named Documentation. I slept 4 nights on the office couch. The 5th night, a hotel. The 6th also. Thursday morning, I met Patricia Weston in a corner office with good light and a yellow legal pad. She reviewed Gary's folder in silence for 20 minutes. Mr. Davis, with what you've brought me, the divorce can be clean or it can be thorough. Your choice. Clean. You're certain? You have grounds for significantly more. I want it over. She nodded. We began. Sandra called my new cell at 2 o'clock. Jennifer and Emily were in the lobby downstairs. Jennifer refused to leave. Tell them I'll see them in 15 minutes. Small conference room. Not my office. I arrived at 2:22. They were seated across the table, a glass of water each. Emily had her arms crossed. Jennifer stood when I walked in. Thank you for seeing us, Jennifer said. Iset said nothing. Emily has something she wants to tell you. Emily stared at the table. I'm sorry about the wine. I was worked up. I didn't mean what I said. Okay. Okay? That's it? Are you going to give my stuff back? No. What do you mean, no? The tuition is between you and your mother. The apartment is canceled. The car goes back next week. The card stays blocked. The phone you can reactivate in your own name. Emily looked at Jennifer. Jennifer looked at me. Mark, you can't do this. She's our daughter. She's your daughter. She's 21 years old. Jennifer shifted, changed her voice, softer, more careful. Mark, I know you're hurt about the birthday. I'm sorry. What I said was wrong. Jennifer, do you recognize the charges at the Meridian Inn in Scottsdale? The room went still. Emily looked at her mother. What? The Scottsdale trip, that's your work trip, Mom. That's the one you. Jennifer was looking at me. Her face had changed. She wasn't negotiating anymore. She was calculating. Mark, that's a different conversation. It's this conversation. Right now or not at all. Fine. Not at all. I stood up. Patricia Weston will be in touch with both of you this week. Jennifer, regarding the divorce terms. Emily, regarding the $42,800 in charges on your card. Over the past 23 months. Charges? What charges? I didn't. You signed the vouchers. Every hotel receipt, every boutique. Your signature is on the documents. If you say it wasn't you, it's identity fraud, a police matter. If you say it was you, it's debt. Those are the 2 options. Emily turned to her mother. Mom, tell him. Jennifer said nothing. I left the conference room and went back to my office. That evening, Jennifer called. Mark, are you coming back to the house? No. Emily has nowhere to go after the 1st. She can stay with you. Mark, that house is our home. I bought it outright before we were married. My name only. And I'm selling it. A long silence. When did you decide all of this, Mark? I didn't decide it this week. You decided it over 15 years. I just stopped pretending not to notice. I hung up. That evening I had dinner alone at the restaurant where I had my reservation. I ordered the ribeye I had always wanted and never ordered because it felt like too much. I ate it slowly. The server asked if I was waiting for anyone. No, I said. Just the check. Patricia called Tuesday morning. Jennifer had retained counsel, a well-known firm downtown. Jennifer was asking to speak with me privately before the first meeting between the two offices. What do you recommend? I asked. Hear her once. With me present. I accepted. Wednesday at 5 in the afternoon, Patricia's conference room. Jennifer arrived alone, no attorney, in a dark blue dress I had never seen before. She was sitting with her hands in her lap and her back very straight when I came in. I sat across from her. Patricia took the far end of the table with her legal pad. Mark, before the lawyers, before the paperwork, I want to ask you one thing.
I'm listening.
Stop. The divorce, the house sale, the debt agreement with Emily. All of it. Stop. In exchange for what? We start over. Counseling, whatever you need. I'll take responsibility for the $42,000. I'll sign a written admission. Whatever it takes. Jennifer, who is the man at the Meridian Inn? She looked at Patricia. Patricia didn't look up from her notepad. That doesn't matter anymore. It matters to me. He's not in my life. It ended 4 months ago. He was a client. Someone I met 2 years ago. Please don't make me say more in this room. You're not in this room because of me. You're here because of you. Jennifer looked down. For the first time in 15 years, I saw her without the posture. The particular straightness she carried everywhere, the careful management of how she took up space. She just looked tired. I know I destroyed this. I know the birthday was the last thing. I didn't erase them. You did. Every time you signed a bank statement knowing there were hotel charges you'd made. Every time you used Emily's card to cover yourself. Every time you sat me at a table full of people who were helping you humiliate me and let me pay the bill. Jennifer raised her eyes. They were full. Not crying, but full. Mark, I do love you. In my way. I know. My father warned me about that kind of love a long time ago. I chose not to hear it. Jennifer closed her eyes for a moment. Is there nothing I can do? Yes. Sign the papers Patricia presents on Friday. Accept the terms. Take responsibility for the $42,000 so Emily doesn't carry a fraud charge. And stop calling the new number. She opened her eyes. Are you going to tell Emily? About Scottsdale?
No.
Why not? Because it's not my story to tell. That's between you and your daughter. If you want her to know who you are, you tell her yourself. Jennifer picked up her bag, stood slowly, looked at me from the other side of the table for a long moment. You really don't love me anymore. I stopped a long time ago. I just didn't admit it to myself until the night of the birthday. She left. Patricia closed her legal pad. That was the right call, Mark. I know. How are you feeling? Good. That night, I drove to the house for the first time in 12 days. Jennifer wasn't there. Emily wasn't there. The house was empty in the specific way a house becomes empty when the people who filled it have left without taking anything with them yet. All the furniture still in place, all the objects exactly where they'd always been, and somehow none of it meaning anything anymore. I went upstairs, opened the closet, packed 2 suitcases, my clothes, my books, my personal files, the photographs of my father, the watch he'd left me. I carried the bags to the car. On the study desk there was an envelope in Jennifer's handwriting. My name. I opened it standing up. 3 pages. It was an explanation, not an apology. She described the client, described the loneliness she said she had felt, described how it started. She wrote that Emily didn't know. She called what she had experienced, losing her way. I folded the letter, left it on the desk, turned off the lights, locked the front door, drove to the hotel. At 1 in the morning, a message came from a number I didn't recognize. My name is Thomas Harding. I need to speak with you. It's about Emily. I know it's late. Call when you can. I looked at the message, saved the number, turned off the light. I called Thomas Harding the following morning at 9. We met at a cafe near my office. He was in his early 50s, lean, in plain clothes. He carried a thin folder. Thank you for seeing me. Mark, I'm Emily's biological father. It didn't surprise me. Something in me had already moved toward that possibility without naming it. How did you find me? I've been trying to reach Emily for years. Jennifer changed her number twice, changed addresses twice. My letters came back. Last week, I saw a notice from the property management company. Lease cancellation. Guarantor Mark Davis withdrawing his signature. I found your firm. What do you want from me? Nothing from you. I just need to know. Does Emily know I exist? She doesn't. Thomas nodded. Slowly, like a man who had been rehearsing that answer for a long time. Jennifer told her I was dead. Yes. I've paid child support every month for 16 years. I have every receipt. I have letters I sent that were returned as undeliverable. I have a restraining order filed against me on grounds that were later found to be unsubstantiated. He opened the folder and pushed it toward me. I looked through it carefully. Monthly support payments unbroken. Letters stamped return to sender. Legal documents with Jennifer's signature. Court filings that had been dismissed for lack of evidence. Why come forward now? Because Emily is 21. I'm not trying to exercise parental rights over a minor anymore. I'm a man who wants to give his adult daughter the option to decide whether she wants to know him. That's all. That's why I waited. I closed the folder and pushed it back. Thomas, I'm not the right person to bring this to Emily. This isn't my story. I wrote down Patricia Weston's name and number on a napkin. Call her. She'll explain the legal path to making contact with Emily directly, without going through Jennifer. It takes time, but it's clean. Thank you. And when Emily finds out, if she does, I won't bring your name into it. I appreciate that. I paid for both coffees. Walked back to the office. The divorce was signed 2 months later. Jennifer accepted every term. She paid the $42,800 in installments. Emily signed an agreement acknowledging the debt as her responsibility, then was released from it because Jennifer assumed it entirely. The house went to me in the final settlement. Jennifer moved to a rental apartment. For months after the papers were signed, I listed the house. Sold it in 3 weeks. Bought something smaller in a different neighborhood with no history in it. Emily got a job at a coffee shop, then a second job, then enrolled in a public university on a partial scholarship and paid the rest herself, working. Thomas Harding found her through the legal channel Patricia had outlined. They met for the first time 6 months after my conversation with him in the cafe. She called me the afternoon of the day they met. First time she had called since the conference room. Mark, I met my biological father today. I know. Did you know before the divorce? Yes. Why didn't you tell me? It wasn't mine to tell. Can I buy you a coffee? Yes. We met the following Saturday. She was 15 minutes late. No makeup. Simpler clothes than I was used to seeing on her. She looked thinner. She didn't hug me when she came in. Hey, Mark. Hey, Emily. She sat down, ordered a black coffee, and didn't bring up Thomas. Didn't bring up Jennifer. She talked about her job, her classes, the room she was renting near campus. I listened. When the coffee was done, she pulled a small envelope from her bag and set it on the table. What's this? First $250. Of the $42,800. I know my mom paid it, but I'm paying it back to you, month by month, down to the last dollar. Emily. Mark. Please. I took the envelope, put it in my jacket pocket. One more thing, she said. I don't know if you'll ever forgive me for what I said that night. You probably won't. But I want you to know that I've spent 6 months trying to find one single reason. I had the right to say any of it. and I can't find one. I didn't answer right away. Emily, I don't need to forgive you. I just need to be able to look at you without feeling what I felt that night. And today I can. That's enough for me. She nodded, didn't cry, paid for her own coffee. We walked out to the parking lot together. At her car, she held out her hand. I shook it. Thanks for coming, Mark. Thanks for calling, Emily. I drove to the new place, parked in the building garage, went upstairs, opened a window, made dinner, ate alone at the kitchen table, with a photograph of my father propped against the wall across from me. At 8 o'clock, Patricia texted, "Mark, everything finalized. Documents in your inbox." I replied, "Thank you, Patricia." I put the phone face down, poured a glass of wine, held it up for a moment. Not a toast to anyone, not lifted toward anything, just a small, private gesture with my hand over the table, and took the first sip. In my filing cabinet at the office in the bottom drawer, there was a white dress shirt folded in quarters. Wine-stained. I hadn't thrown it out, hadn't shown it to anyone, hadn't used it as evidence or ammunition or proof of anything. It was just there, folded. A record of the last night of something that no longer existed. I left it where it was. I finished the wine, washed the glass, turned off the kitchen light, went to bed.